Nobody minds. Happy now, Mr. Piper?
Let's get going, huh?
Very well, unless Jean would care to.
Oh, thanks. We're all crooks here, which sort of cancels out any funny business with a card.
Very well. We shall all draw a card in turn until 5 cards are drawn by each player. Shall we start, Jean?
Sure.
Lucasto?
Okay.
Mr. Piper?
Yes, of course.
And myself. We just keep going in rotation.
This is fun.
Fun? No. There's too much money which rides on these cards.
That's what makes it fun.
Would you mind keeping quiet? I'm nervous.
We all are, one way or another.
Time is 8:30, and we come to Saturday Night
They all
Theatre.
got 'em.
Very well, then. In the same order that the cards were dealt. Jean?
A pair of 3s.
Lucasto?
Nothing.
Mr. Piper?
Kings. 2.
The light!
Piper. Well, what?
Da-da-da-da-da. Hey. Hey, I don't like to seem stuffy, mister, but will you take your elbow out of my back?
I'd be delighted to, Mr. Goodwin, but it's not my elbow.
I don't care if it's your tibia maximus. Just take it away.
Chuck wouldn't like it.
Well, we have company. Mind if I look around?
Keep right on walking, pal.
That would be Chuck behind me, huh? And you are...
My name is Denby. You may remember it.
Oh, yeah. You phoned me a couple of hours ago about a card game. Now, look, just what is your boy poking in my back?
I think it's a 38.
You're not sure?
It might be a 45.
Chuck, is it loaded?
Make a funny move, pal, and you'll find out the hard way.
Yo, wait a minute. It's just a passing curiosity. Where are we going?
My car. Get in.
If you insist. I guess you do. Okay.
I'll drive, Chuck.
The car bulletproof?
No, that's hardly necessary. Chuck shoots first.
Well, that's a saving, I guess. The only thing is, I hadn't figured on taking a ride. I told Mr. Wolfe I was going for a walk. He disapproved,
You're
but...
going for a ride.
Isn't that a little corny?
Now, there's a minor difference. Usually the guest, shall we say, is killed at the conclusion of the ride. In this
Let's
case...
not make the difference too minor. Huh?
You will survive the ride. It's what comes afterwards that might kill you. You see, Mr. Goodwin, my friends and I have a little mystery to solve.
You want me to solve it?
No. We want Mr. Wolfe to solve it. In order to do so, he must leave his house and come to mine. He has to in order to find the solution quickly.
Why?
Neither my friends nor myself have any desire to improve our acquaintance with the police. Therefore, we want the mystery solved before the police are even called in. Hence our need for Mr. Wolfe. Hence our detaining you.
Detaining is a pretty word in the circumstances.
Now, this is my home, Mr. Goodwin.
Oh, well, I don't like the architecture. I think I'll stay out.
Get going, pal.
On second thought, Mr. Denby, what makes you think Mr. Wolfe is going to leave his house and come here?
You. Unless he does so, he will lose you. Forever. The door, Chuck.
Okay.
Mr. Goodwin, may I introduce you to my associates in business and in poker? To your right, Mr. Lucasto, a charming but impulsive fellow.
Hello.
He's only the stooge. Where's the fat fellow?
In time, Lucasto. The lovely lady whose back is to you is Jean. Jean something or other. She's always changing her name.
Hello.
Hello.
And the gentleman facing you is Mr. Piper.
How do you do? Is he exclusive or just... Hey, he's wearing his red carnation a little low, isn't he? Over his heart. Except that's no carnation.
That, Mr. Goodwin, is blood. Lifeblood.
Archie. Oh, Pa, he's always taking walks. Come in, the door's unlocked.
Are you... Yeah, you're Wolfe.
Having made a magnificent discovery, suppose you remove your hat?
Now, come on.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Denby wants to see you.
Mr. Danby can see me here.
Here ain't where he wants to see you.
Here, at the risk of minor monotony, is where he'll have to see me.
Don't you want your boy Goodwin to keep on living?
No one has ever been able to discourage him.
Mr. Denby will.
Ah, Archie's in custody?
No, in Mr. Denby's house under a gun.
I don't have to believe that.
Take a look at this.
Wallet. Archie's wallet. I shall accompany you. And permit me to warn you that if Mr. Goodwin has been harmed, nothing short of murder will satisfy me.
It's getting late. Wolfe isn't here yet. Maybe he doesn't worry about you, Goodwin.
Well, he could have been delayed. Maybe an orchid needed a pollen transfusion or something. Besides, only the good die young.
Then you must be very, very good, Archie.
That remark I didn't care for.
We sit here and wait for the fat one, but in the meanwhile, the police...
The police will come when we notify them.
But they will not like the delay we make to notify them. I say we waste time. I say the fat one will not risk coming.
You say entirely too much.
Is that so? Maybe I kill you myself.
Picasso, put that gun away.
Yes, darling Archie should have a chance to live. Not long if Wolfe doesn't come.
Stop looking so pleased.
Are you afraid to die, Archie?
Yeah, well, I'm not looking forward to it. It's so final. Besides, I didn't eat a hearty dinner, and Oh, the Marines have landed.
Who is it?
Chuck, with Nero Wolfe.
Let him in. Shut the door, Chuck. Stay outside.
Archie?
Hello, Mr. Wolfe. Oh, am I glad to see you.
I regret I cannot say the same thing. Blast you, why couldn't you stay at home instead of taking those confounded walks? I warned you it'd be dangerous.
Yeah, but Mr. Wolfe, it wasn't the fresh air that got me. It was Denby.
Mr. Wolfe, I knew you wouldn't come here without some sort of pressure. I thought the method I used would be most effective.
Would you really have killed Archie if I hadn't come?
I would have had no choice. I would have been stuck with a witness to an unsolved murder.
Suppose I cannot solve it.
I should be forced to apply the same logic to two witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wolfe, you really came here to save my life, huh?
Nonsense. I came here for a fee, Mr. Denby.
I have a check for $1,000 already made out.
Clear it up. You forget. I left my home. I traveled unprotected through the streets of this city, exposed to motor accidents, to fresh air, too. You offer me $1,000.
Will $2,500 do?
Barely. Archie, will you take the check? Now, I presume you want me to find who killed the gentleman at the table, the one facing me, huh?
His name is Mr. Piper.
The name is no importance. Will you all sit
As the
table
trucking
and
industry
listen
comes to
the
terms with its
where
unsustainable
the
carbon
time
footprint,
shooting
the need for cleaner...
Jean? Picasso?
Good. Now for a look at the wound. The lights, I should imagine, went out for a while when the shooting occurred.
They went out.
Yes. Of the three of you at the table, which one had the best motive for the murder?
We all have the same motive. The club.
Helpful. There was no one else in the room at the time?
No one.
The door?
Locked. With Chuck on guard outside of it.
So much for that. The windows, I notice, are closed. They were closed when the murder took place.
They were closed.
The window panes are all unbroken, which eliminates the possibility of the shot being fired from outside of them, unless one of them was raised and lowered.
That wouldn't have been possible. The windows are secured by catches.
Archie, will you check that?
Okay, Mr. Wolfe.
I shall for the moment assume that the windows are neither lying nor untrustworthy. Does anyone remember anything unusual occurring at the time of the shooting?
Well, someone whispered Piper just before the shot.
Indeed. You all heard that whisper?
We heard it.
Man's voice or woman?
Well, I can't say. A whisper doesn't reveal much of anything.
The windows weren't open, Mr. Wolfe.
Which leads to...
The fact that it had to be one of us in this room. But which one, Mr. Wolfe?
The murder weapon. Ah, yes. Yes. Has it been moved?
Nobody touched it. It's laying on the floor where it was dropped.
Interesting. If you look closely, you would observe two oil spots staining the rug between the revolver and the lady's chair, indicating... Who sat at the right of Mr. Piper?
I did. Why?
Mr. Denby.
Yes?
If I were you, I would turn Mr. Lecasto over to the police.
You are a liar.
I warned you about that gun, Lecasto.
Was it necessary to shoot Mr. Lecasto?
In the arm, yes. He was reaching for a gun. He'll live, however, till the police take him away. What do I tell them?
You could point out the angle of the wound. As you notice, Mr. Denby, the bullet entered Mr. Piper's heart from the right.
Yes, so it did. Therefore, whoever sat to his right, well, that was Lecasto.
Archie, you have the check?
I have it.
We may as well leave.
Mr. Wolfe, you're sure Lecasto shot Piper?
I have indicated the evidence. The rest will be up to the jury. Come, Archie.
Jean,
Yes, Archie.
now that my...
Look, I'll cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and extreme groups are doing everything they can to outraise us. And if they do, they'll be that much closer. Cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline. With the election just around the corner, I'm humbly asking you, can you give what you can now? While there's still time. Democracy's on the line. Donald Trump, his billionaire buddies, and
Tell us Piper escaped. Oh, wrong again. Come in, Mr. Denby.
Mr. Wolfe, I'm upset.
With him, perhaps we can get a new hand.
Okay, maybe it's the morgue to tell us Piper escaped.
Castor did not kill Piper.
But you said that he
Oh,
did.
The
wrong
only
again.
evidence against
Come in,
Mr.
Mr. Denby.
Castor was the angle of the entrance
I'm
of the
upset.
bullet that lodged in his heart. With him, perhaps we can get a new hand.
Okay, maybe it's the morgue to tell us Piper
The
escaped.
master did not kill Piper.
But you said that he did.
The only evidence against
Come in, Mr.
Castor
Denby.
was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his heart. With him, perhaps we can get a new hand.
Okay, maybe it's the morgue to tell us Piper
The
escaped.
master did not kill Piper.
But you said that he did.
The only evidence against
Come in, Mr. Denby.
Castor was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his heart. Perhaps we can get a new hand.
Maybe it's the morgue to tell us Piper
The
escaped.
master did not kill Piper.
But you said that he did.
The only evidence
Come in,
against
Mr. Denby.
Castor was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his heart. Perhaps we can get a new hand.
Maybe it's the morgue to tell us Piper
The
escaped.
master did not kill Piper.
But you said that he did.
The only evidence against
Come in, Mr. Denby.
Castor was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his
Maybe it's the morgue to tell us Piper
The
escaped.
master did not kill Piper. The only evidence against
Come in, Mr. Denby.
was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his heart. The master did not kill Piper. The only evidence against was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his heart. The master did not kill Piper. The only evidence against was the angle of the entrance of the bullet that lodged in his heart.
I'm leaving.
Police wouldn't approve, but let me have your gun.
Wise guy. You know something?
Can you think?
If I was to knock off you and Goodwin...
I'm leaving. Police wouldn't
Come
approve,
and get it,
but let me
Goodwin.
have your gun.
Right
Wise
up, nice
guy.
and
You
know
easy.
something?
Can you think?
If I was to knock off you and Goodwin...
Well, that's not the way to talk to a man who's just been... Hey, Chuck is lying.